Hi everyone. We are going to talk about equations of circles, how to graph them, and also completing the square if you haven't done that before. So first let's just generally talk about our circles and what the equation of a circle is. So here I have standard form of a circle, and so this is a new equation for us. Anytime we see an equation in this form, we know if we graphed it, it would be a circle on the graph. So let's talk about these values that I have here. Now, we always have x minus some value squared, and just like with any function, the value that's with x, my h value, is going to be my horizontal shift. Okay, my k value is going to be my vertical shift. These are also going to help us with our center, but I'll write that in just a moment. And then finally, my r, if you guessed it, is our radius. So remember, circles have a radius, and that's our r value. So in our circle, if I were to graph one, our center, now the standard or the parent function of a circle would be centered at 0, 0, or the origin. But when we have some type of shift, then our new center is going to be obviously some point, x comma y, and the x value is whatever h is, and the y value is whatever k is. So that's our new center. Our radius is the distance from our center to some point on the circle. That's our radius. And so these can be anywhere on the graph, however big, however small, and we're going to practice graphing these and writing the equations of them. Now before we dive into that, we do need to cover completing the square. So this is the first time we've seen this for our class, and it is needed if you have been given the equation of a circle, but it's not in the standard form up here. So we're going to do just a little math. It's not difficult in order to get it to standard form. All right. So you'll notice up here I have two factored binomials, or trinomials, I should say. So both of these have been factored, and we've done a ton of that. Now, in order to factor something like this, I would need three terms. I need a polynomial. I need my x terms and my y terms. So what I'm going to do to start off completing the square is I'm going to write all of my x values on the left, then all my y values, and then any numbers I have left I'm going to write on the right side for my radius. That way we can factor a little easier. So I'm just going to write x squared, and then I have an 18x. And then what I'm going to do here next is leave a space, because in order to factor something with three terms to make it look like this, well, we need that third term, which I don't have yet. So I'm going to say plus, and then some value. And when we find that value, that's going to be completing the square. All right, then we have y squared minus 10y, again, plus that third value, and then equals, and I'm just going to subtract that 42 from both sides of the equation. So now I have a negative 42 on the right. So I didn't actually do any math yet other than just rearranging everything. I haven't calculated anything yet. Now what I want to do is find out what value I can put here so that I can factor this piece, just this piece, to make it look like one of these. And this would be like our guess and check method. So I want to know what number here do my two values, my two h values, multiply to, but add to 18. Remember, that's our guess and check method. Well, there's a really simple way to do this. All you have to do to find this value right here is take this coefficient, the 18, divide by 2, and square the value. Okay, so 18 divided by 2 is 9, squared is 81. I have just found out how to complete this square. Okay, but here's the trick. If you add something to one side of the equation, you must add it to the other. Let's try it out with the other trinomial. So I've got my y's now. I need to figure out what number goes here so that this will be a polynomial I can factor perfectly. So I'm going to take this negative 10, divide by 2, and square it. So negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. squared is 25. So this completes this square. And don't forget to add it to the other side of the equation. Okay, so on the left side, now I have this polynomial that I can factor and this polynomial I can factor. So let's do this one first. What numbers multiply to 81 but add to 18? Well, it's 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 plus 9 is 18. So I can factor this as x plus 9 squared. You might remember that 9 from down here when we did this calculation. All right, plus. Now let's do the y's. Numbers that multiply to 25 but add up to negative 10. Well, negative 5 times negative 5, remember we did that down here, multiply to 25, and they also add to negative 10. So this is going to be y minus 5 squared. So now you'll notice this is going to start looking like this equation up here. Now we just need this value. We're going to add these numbers together. When I do negative 42 plus 81 plus 25, I get 64. One mistake I see a lot, I just want you to look out for, this is not r. This is r squared, right? So if you were to be asked what r is, or the radius is 8 for this circle, not 64. All right, let's try this next one. If you want to try out completing the square on your own now that you've seen it once, pause the video now. Otherwise, you can watch me do it. Okay, I'm going to go just a little faster for this one, so I'm going to rearrange everything. X squared minus 12x, leave a blank. Y squared minus 4y, leave a blank. Negative 31. Again, we're completing the square. Okay, so down here I'm going to do my math real quick. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6 times itself. Make sure to add it. And then I'm going to do my y's. Okay. Divide by 2 squared is going to be 2. I'm sorry, 4. 2 squared. And now I can factor these. So I can factor my x's. X minus 6 squared. Y minus 2 squared. And then I forgot to add 4 here. Let's add these up. It's going to give me 9. And then again, after I circle my answers, just so these kind of stick out, don't forget that this value right here, if you don't see a little squared right there, is not radius, it's radius squared. So my radius for the circle would be 3 units. Okay, so now we've had some practice completing the square. Let's just have some practice graphing our circles and writing equations. All right, so first one, we have been given standard form. We like standard form, that's nice and easy. We have an h value of, careful, negative 4, so we're going to go to the left 4 for my center. And then we have an h value of negative 2, so we're going to go down 2. So this is my new center right here for my circle. Then we have our r squared. So remember, that's not r, that's our radius squared. So we need the square root of 7 to tell us what our radius is. So the square root of 7, if I calculate that real quick, is about 2.65. Just over 2.5. So that means to find some points on the circle, we're going to go over 2.5, but a little more. You can go the other direction. And you can go up and down. Should be enough. Be really careful when you draw these. It's really easy to try to make this look like a square. Remember, these are circles. So, go in knowing you're drawing a circle. I'm going to do my best. Not perfect, but that's my circle. Do your best to go through these points, but we're all human, we're not perfect. Okay, next one, we've got a fraction, that's okay. So we're going to go to the right, 3 over 2, or 1.5, and then down 4. So my center was positive 3 over 2, comma, negative 4. My radius, oh, what's the square root of 1? Well, it's just 1. So from this point, I'm going to go over 1, up 1, and down 1. This is a little circle with a very small little radius. So my radius here was 1. Okay, now we have been given a circle. Let's write the equation. So let's investigate where is our center. Looks like it's right here. So my center is 0, positive 3. Okay, so I can start writing my equation, x minus 0. You don't have to write the 0, but I like to. Y minus 3. And then I need my radius squared. So my radius is, let's see, these are each 1 unit. 1, 2. So 2 squared is 4. Right. Radius was 2. Here is your equation. All right, last problem we're going to practice is if you've been given the center and the radius without a graph, and we're just going to write the equation. So we're writing it in standard form. So I've got my x minus some value, y minus some value, and then equals r squared. Well, if my radius is square root 23, if you square that, then your answer is just 23. So 23 goes on the right. And then my h value is negative 2, so this is x plus 2. And my h value is 11. I think I might have said h here. This is this is k. I said it right. So h is negative 2, k is 11. Okay, thank you so much for watching, guys. The next video for this unit is going to be on parabolas and their equations.